Good evening, you guys, and thank you so much for joining me tonight. This is really great. I'm super excited. So what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be doing a full moon in Scorpio reading, and you guys were able to look at your piles. We're doing pile number 1 right now, and this is a brand new deck of mine, which is super exciting. It is beautiful. It's called the 5 Cent Tarot, and you can get it on Etsy, and you can just look that up. I'll let you Google that yourself. Give it a goog. But either way, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And so we're going to be just giving a general reading for those of you in pile number 1 for the full moon in Scorpio. Now, the energy that's typically around Scorpio is ambition and desire. It's typically kind of known as one of the more like kind of risque signs, I guess, in the zodiac. I think Scorpios sometimes get a little bad rep, but but they're wonderful. It's a water sign, and they can just be secretive, but also very loving and kind and very loyal, very giving, community oriented as well. So yeah, we'll just get on with it. And if you've been watching, I've really been enjoying doing the pyramid layout. So seeing as this is a reading for the Scorpio full moon, you can think about whether or not, but just think about yourself and your ambitions or any goals that you're making, kind of keeping those feelings in mind, because you are in, this is a watery moon. And from what I understand, it's going to be like a super pink moon, and I really wish that I knew way more about that. But I don't, and I apologize, but I say go on ahead and look that up. All right. Okay, pile number 1. Ooh. Oh, very nice. So straight away, the energy around this is mastery, and mastery of your craft, and mastering whatever it is that's going to be bringing you stability. And I see some discernment in this, but also using your intuition. So the first card that we have is the 6 of Buttons, and it's called Buttons in this deck, which is really cute. But it's also, it stands for Pentacles. So 6 of Pentacles is having a fair and balanced approach, giving away and being able to share as much as you're able to without the expense of your own reserves. So with the Pentacles, that really speaks to our stability and the things that we have, the things that are tangible in our lives, money, possessions, things of that nature. And so when it comes to the 6 of Pentacles, it just highlights sharing and being fair, but also giving within your means, not beyond your means. And really also paying attention to just your inner reserves as well. I mean, it is a very generous card, so you're being invited by the tarot right now to be generous in whatever it is that you have in mind. Next we have an oracle card from this deck. So this deck is pretty cool. It comes with, I think, like 5 oracle cards, and this one is the universe, which stands for infinite growth and evolution and possibilities. So right off the hip, what comes out for me is you have the 6 of Pentacles, the 6 of Buttons, which is a generosity card, and then you have the infinite growth card. So it really does say, like, the more you give out, you reap what you sow, and in the end, the love that you make is equal to the love that you take. I think that's what it is. The love that you take is equal to the love you make. So you're basically, it's like karma. This combination right here looks like a really good karma combination. So good karma, practicing good karma, pile number 1. So then the next one is 8 of Buttons. And so 8 of Buttons, or 8 of Pentacles, is really cool because it's like you've developed some mastery in whatever skill you're trying to grow, or your profession, or whatever the case may be, your craft, your art. And the 8 of Pentacles would suggest that you are past the evaluation stage. You're not sitting back trying to figure out how, this method is going to work versus this method, and so on and so forth. What you have come to is a method that has been tested and, tried and true, and now you're using it, and you are seeing progress and seeing growth, and you are moving forward in that craft or whatever skill it is that you're attaining mastery at. And that's really exciting. That feels really, really grounded, because it's this craft, this practice that is going to serve you, because there's a goal. With the full moon in Scorpio, it's also determined. Like, Scorpio is a very determined sign. And so this can be about setting new goals, this moon. Typically we set our goals during the new moon, and then we see in the full moon whether or not certain things have come into fruition or not. But just the energy around the Scorpio full moon, maybe this is a really great time to set some really big intentions, some plans around your craft of mastery. And then the next one is the Queen of Needles in this deck, but that's the Queen of Swords. And so not only are you being invited to be generous and move forward in good karma, but you're also being asked to have a discerning mind. So, this is a very logical approach to things, a logical approach to problem solving in life. And the Queen of Swords is often called the Ice Queen of the deck, but it's not that she's unfeeling or uncaring or unnurturing. That's just not her nature. Is the archetype of being clear, and just like the swords, it's like clear cut and clear seeing and clear vision, and which is, at the very top of his is clear of mind. So you're being called on to stay clear, because it looks like you're already kind of in this clear path based on what these cards are saying prior to, marching along the path of good karma. You can never go wrong with that. So this next one is the High Priestess, which is amazing. So it's like, that's the card of intuition. So not only are you being invited to trust your mind, you're being invited to trust your gut. So right now, your mind and your gut are going to be in alignment with one another. And, typically what I like to point out to people in these pyramid readings that I do is that the center card has seemed to be kind of the foundation of the reading. And this one right here in the middle is mastery. It's the Eight of Pentacles. So I think that the more that you practice good karma and practice intuition and clear and having that mind and body connection, then those two strengths will integrate and help you in your mastery. Very good energy here. Really good energy here, pile number 1. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, so then the very next, it would appear that the next energy or archetype that is coming out, this could be you, but we're having 2 major arcana like right next to each other. So what I pulled was the Emperor. Now the Emperor is like authoritarian. The inverse is typically rigidity, like overly rigid, but the Emperor in the upright position is a position of power, is a position of kind of like commonly associated with like the father figure, the paternal, setting the structure, like, traditionally kind of doing this whole, daddy's home kind of thing, So the Emperor sets the structure and is holding the fort and is speaking with authority and has a powerful presence and is, setting the rules basically. And so, maybe there's a part of you that's kind of like, okay, I'm going to be clear mind, trust my head and my gut, and then I need to set my own structure. Like that's one storyline. Which I think is a good storyline because typically the major arcana are relating to the person who is being read for. And then like later on, like a court card can represent you, and a court card can also represent another energy that's coming in. A lot of times in love readings, they'll be like, introduced pretty close to one another. So, okay. So then after the Emperor energy, we have the 5 of Buttons, which is the 5 of Pentacles. So, it looks like there's a little bit of hardship. Along our path of mastery, there's going to be challenges from time to time. But it would appear that, like, you being of clear mind and gut, clear mind and intuition, and already coming from the path of good karma, you will encounter some hardships, but they're going to be short-lived, because the thing is that you know what to do. You know what to do when times get tough. When times get tough, you're going to take a respite, the 4 of Swords. So you're going to take a respite, take a little break. Maybe on this path of mastery, you're kind of encountering a lot of intense energies inside of yourself, like the Queen of Swords, and you have your mind and your intuition at work, and it can take a lot of energy out of you, and and you're on the path of like creating some sort of structure. So I wouldn't be surprised, pile number 1, if you are like a boss of some kind or in a leadership role. That's what's just coming out for me now as I'm reading this. Maybe you're a new master, or a new leader of something. And so you're developing the mastery of this leadership role. And in that initial foray into mastering your leadership, sometimes we can put a lot of pressure on ourselves to call on our inner, clear thinking and trusting our gut and setting the rules and la la. And that can make you feel that can just take a lot of energy out of you. Kind of coming forth with this boom, boom, boom. Because these three that's really strong energy. And to try to hold them all at once and bring all that game to one position or one goal even, is pretty intense. So, perhaps you showed up in your role, being a bit, maybe you were appearing to be a little bit like the Ice Queen. Who knows? Probably not, but sometimes when we're trying really hard, we can kind of come off as a little bit too in our heads. And I don't know. I mean, there's the Five of Pentacles here. Maybe you got some sort of vibe from somebody along the way that they weren't really digging your approach. I don't know. That's a possible storyline. But either way, there was a little bit of a setback. You'll know what that was. And then you decided to take care of yourself and get some respite. And maybe sit back and reflect a little bit. Taking a rest. And then it appears here that then you have the King of Cups. So this could be you also bringing in this energy to balance yourself out. Because here's the Queen of Swords and then the King of Cups. Perhaps this is another counterpart to you that's coming in to help you with your goal or to help you along this path of mastery. Whatever it is that you are working out right now, you've been leaning a lot on your mind. And I really like how here's the Queen of Swords or Queen of Needles as it is in this deck. And then here's the High Priestess, which is typically a watery card, a water sign card because it calls on the intuition. And then you have the King of Cups right here. So there's kind of like this trifecta of energies. And so I think that maybe you're probably balancing yourself out by looking to, another counterpart to mentor or seek advice, or perhaps that's just an energy that you're being invited to also make room for and embody in order to balance out, a potentially rigid approach. So let's move on. Okay. And so with the balancing out of those energies, like the intensity with the softness, you're being invited to keep a playful, you're being invited to call on the inner playfulness and call on the kind of the inner child of yourself, because we have the Six of Cups here. And the Six of Cups is a really great card to just remind us of our own innocence and and I think in this case, our own potential for learning new things also, even if you're in a mastery role, even if you're on the path of a leadership role, whatever the case may be, because it does feel very powerful. There's a lot of authority here in whatever you're going under or whatever your undertaking is, pile number one. So you're being reminded to loosen up a little bit, lighten up, finding joy in the little things, sharing ideas, and maybe there's a part of you that can even call upon some past lessons that you've learned along your path, that maybe there are some things that you've forgotten about that are actually, as you come to think about them and open up the space in your mind and in your heart, that it's like, oh yeah, like I know how to do this part, and I wonder what that would be like to bring that here to my path of mastery and my practice. So really is a reminder of being gentle with yourself, gentle with other people around you, and just having patience and kindness and finding joy in all the things. Like, it's okay to make a mistake. Like, because that's the thing. Like, as I'm reading this, it's like, okay, yeah, everything's, but there's a little bit of don't want to make a mistake feeling in here. So now, the next one is the King of Wands, but in this deck, it's King of Matches. So matches, wands, fire. So you have the King of Matches here, the King of Wands, and it says that this person, as we all know, like the King of Wands is a leader. They're kind of, they've come to the top of the evolutionary scale when it comes to desire and drive and moving towards mastery and setting goals and moving towards those goals. And now they are in a position to help others because now they're a leader. Like, they have not only attained mastery, but they are now teaching others. So, maybe, this could be you, because right here, and this is what I've been pointing out, the center is, and which is kind of the core of the reading, is the Eight of Buttons, the Eight of Pentacles, which is mastery. And then boom, right here we have the born leader, the King of Wands. So, along this path, I think either this is an invitation for you to really embrace your inner King of Wands, or maybe you have a King of Wands counterpart in your life that you're also collaborating with and learning with along the way, or basically being taught. I get the sense that through this journey, I mean, granted that, any kind of reading is kind of like, there's real no time limit on it. It's just kind of like what is happening right now. I get the sense that this is you. I get the sense that this is your future self here, that this is your future self. Like, you've been on the path to mastery, and in good time, you're going to be teaching others. You're going to be leading others in the same school, I guess, in the same kind of endeavors. So the next here is Two of Cups. So, I mean, Scorpio moon is also very, like, they're kind of like they're also known as being a very sexual sign. So, Two of Cups is partnership. Now, this could be partnership with somebody else, of course, or this could be partnership with you and your higher self. I don't necessarily see this as like a love reading, because I see a lot of buttons or a lot of pentacles, and then swords and a little bit of fire. So it's like you got your fire as the drive, but like pentacles is, like I said before, like grounded and stable. It's really the suit of practicality. It's really the suit of practicality. And I'm just getting a very, like, the message that I'm getting from this reading, pile number one, is that you could very well be in like a course of study. Like, this is reflecting like a course of study, or like a course of job, like, or it could even be a combination of the two. Like, maybe you're in an internship of some kind. So I'm thinking that the Two of Cups in this case could be coming together with another colleague, like a student colleague or a work colleague, in the meeting of the minds, but also a meeting of the sensibilities. This could be an integration of you and your higher self, given this path that you're on and you're learning, and then now your eventual teaching. This could be like an integration of, you know, you and your higher self. Because here we are on the side, we have the Queen of Needles is right above here, but then off we have the King of Cups. So it's kind of like there's an integration here. It's just one storyline. If it feels different to you, that and it, you know, and you know what it is, then you know what it is, because those are the meanings of that card. Well, maybe it was an actual romantic connection. Maybe you ended up getting together with that student colleague, or you got together with one of your one of your coworkers. Hopefully you didn't get together with one of your interns. If in fact you were a supervisor or something. But whatever, man. Like, if you did, like, then we make our choices and then we get clear, you know? We make our choices and then we get clearer. Okay, because you have the Two of Cups, right? Like we just discussed. And now I see the Three of Needles, which is the Three of Swords, which is, it's the heartbreak card, but it's also the healing card. Because whenever there's an ending in something, there's a beginning of something else. So, and right after that is the Lovers. So I think something did happen in here where maybe you were just really focused on your work, and then all of a sudden this King of Matches showed up. Maybe that was like a teacher or a boss for you. Because we were talking about the leadership role, or the King of Wands. So somewhere along the way in here, you met somebody. I think you must have met the King of Wands, or maybe you're the King of Wands. You evolved to the King of Wands, and, you know, maybe it's the King of Cups. Maybe the King of Cups came along with all their lovey-dovey emotions and then incited you to feel like, get back in touch with that carefree part of yourself with the Six of Cups, you know, and then there, yeah, and then the Two of Cups was happening. But whatever it was kind of fast. See, because the King of Wands, I mean, granted, fire is the element of desire and drive. And it's a very quick energy. Whereas the Pentacles is a very patient energy. You can think of Pentacles as seeds. People think of them as seeds or coins, but essentially there's a seed quality to them, because you're going to plant the seed in whatever the goal is, whatever the vision or the foundation you're building is going to grow over time. Okay. And with the wands, which is fire, and in this deck it's matches, you know, you strike a match and it goes when it flares up, and then it kind of simmers, and then it burns out. So the fire can be quite quick. So it would appear that there was some sort of quick little love happening and some heartbreak. Maybe you two decided a workplace romance was not the best idea. But then there's the Lovers right after. And the Lovers is also being at a crossroads. Okay? It's the commitment card, but it's also the crossroads card. You're being asked to make a choice. Or maybe you just feel like you have to make you have to make a choice of some kind. So, I mean, pile number one, you're watching this, you know what, when these energies are showing up in your read, and then the specifics are for you to fill in, but that's kind of what I'm getting right here. So what is the culmination? Ooh, there you go. It's the 10 of matches, 10 of wands, is the culmination, which is actually really, really great, because the 10 is the ending of a cycle, and then it starts over, then there's the beginning with the one. So, you know, you've come to the end. You know, the 10 of wands says that your journey has been a hard fought one. I see a lot of work in here, like a lot of strength. I'm surprised that the strength card hasn't come up, but I kind of feel like in this instance, the 10 of wands represents that strength, because this was you know, you were trucking along and staying clear, staying grounded, and staying committed. And you even helped others along the way. And then some sort of little love thing happened here. I'm not too sure. And then, you know, in the finish, the 10 of matches, or the 10 of wands, is accomplishment. You have made it. Like traditionally in the tarot, there is a person who has 10 rods, like 10 staff, in a burlap sack on their back. And these are pretty heavy, you know, but they're like, and they're like trudging along, you know, the expanse, but they're almost there. So this would indicate that, like, you're coming to the end of a really well worked on project. You know, you've really dedicated yourself, and yeah, you really dedicated yourself and you accomplished your goal. And then, you know, so after I typically complete this pyramid, you know, we'll go down the middle and kind of look at that. You know, we have the mastery, and then the born leader, the king, you know, the 8 of pentacles, and the king of wands, and then the 10 of wands, right? So it's like that could be your progression as well. Like on your path to mastery, you became a leader and you finished the project. And you did it really well. You put a lot of yourself into this project. You know, and down this way, it's like you trust this is kind of like your more watery side here. Oh. Huh. So here we have the intuition card, the high priestess, followed by the king of cups, which is a very emotionally stable presence. You have 2 kings and 1 queen here. Perhaps that's where the lovers and the decision comes in. Perhaps that's where some of the heartbreak comes in. Was there a third party? Queen of Swords? Did you have a fiery person and a emotional person? Anyways, I'm sorry, because this is supposed to be you here. I feel like that's you. Anyway, I'm getting all over the place. So, you know, you have intuition and some emotion and emotional stability. And then you have the 2 of Cups energy. and the Lover's energy, and then the Ten of Wands energy. So, you know, there could also be like a side love project happening that you really put a lot of yourself into, right? On this side. And then over here, you know, you were sharing, but you were also, you know, staying boundaried and structured. And then you were reminded that you had to play a little bit. And then there was some heartbreak, but ultimately you succeeded. So it's interesting just how to read these this layout, but that's it. It looks like there was a project you were working on, and a few people came into the mix. You may have had a love connection with one of them, which might not have been the best idea, but I don't know. Maybe it's being taken outside of the office. Who knows? But anyhow, that's what I have for you. Pile number 1. And so now I'm going to go on to pile number 2. Oh, wait, you know what? I will pull an oracle card for you. I apologize. So let me pull an oracle card for you. Sometimes if the reading is a little, not overly scattered, but has some components that are just, you know, a couple of themes, couple of maybe, I don't know, like a stronger theme with a subplot, then, I mean, I always like to pull a little oracle card afterwards anyway, just as a little vitamin boost, which is great. Okie dokie. All right. Going beyond normal. All right. Okay. Okay. I mean, maybe you picked some traditional methods on how to go about your project, but then maybe there were some unconventional methods on how to go about accomplishing your goal. Who knows? Maybe you... No, I'm not going to make that joke. Sorry. So going beyond normal. So I'll go ahead and look in here and give you a little bit more insight. This is a new deck for me, but it's beautiful. It's the Sacred Rebels Oracle. Let's see here. All right, here it is, Going Beyond Normal. On the path of life, there are deciding moments where we can choose to go with the mainstream, or we can dare to take a bolder, more authentic and trusting way, even if it seems riskier or less safe. To rely solely on logic and science, without incorporating the mysterious and magical, is a recipe for an existence that is far too dry. The sacred rebel within our hearts will always choose a juicier approach to life. You are currently approaching such a choice point. Pile number 1, you could say that the choice is about balance. It is less about choosing to honor either art or science, gardening or architecture, or more about integrating all approaches so that you enhance rather than hinder your life journey. Which I think this would be a nice little representation of that, the Six of Cups, kind of enhancing that, opening up that heart chakra to all the mind, to all the brain. Placing science or architecture above all else kills off the rebellious heart. Steadfastly relying on logic, proof and a complete set of plans to measure and dictate outcomes will suffocate the soul. Basing decisions on limited factors with an imbalanced measure of success is unnecessarily limiting. This approach prevents us from living freely, spontaneously, and with trust, so that we can rebel against the need for things to go strictly according to plan. Choose to value decisions based on passion and instinct. Passion and instinct. And trust in life enough to embrace it as an adventure and let it unfold as it will. There is a time and place for logic, strategy, planning, and measurable outcomes. These are not bad tools to have, but we must be vigilant not to worship them or allow them to quash our less rational but equally valuable decision-making tools: intuition, feelings, and those things you know without knowing how you know them. Head and gut, remember? Okay, so you're being asked to stay open to the intuitive approach in your life, your work, your creativity, as well as in your spiritual journey. You may have pressures around you, from the world or from your own conditioned nature, to do things according to the rules, to a deadline, or to the accepted mainstream view that you need a well thought out plan for success in a commercial venture. However, sometimes the best plan is to do what feels intuitively truthful in the moment and to trust that you are being, I'm going to say divinely guided, led towards your own growth. All right. Adopting this approach means you have to do far less planning and far more living. Well, I think that sounds like a really good thing. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there you have part of it, which is pretty much the entire, the message that it was giving you. So I hope you enjoyed that pile number 1. And if you resonated with it, fantastic. Take it 100%. If not, then I invite you to watch any of the other readings, especially if you found yourself kind of waffling between one or the other. Okay, thank you so much. And let's do pile number 2. Okay, what do we have for pile number 2? Some information, some medicine, some messages for pile number 2 for the full pink supermoon in Scorpio. That should be happening tomorrow. This is fun. Thank you guys for joining me. I absolutely love doing this. Okay, give it another shuffle and a cut, and I think we're ready. I've been seeing that dude. I've been seeing that dude show up in every reading that I do with this deck. I'm beginning to feel irritated with him. I'll tell you about it in a sec. All right, what do we got? Okay, so it looks like we have another really kind of just straight off the bat, like another really grounded pentacle reading, which is kind of interesting to happen in the full moon of Scorpio because, you know, Scorpios are very driven and kind of goal-oriented and brave. Yeah, Yeah, and loyal. So in that loyalty, there's a lot of groundedness in that. There's a lot of commitment in that. And, you know, with the pentacles, when we plant our seeds, we commit to see it through, or at least that's, you know, what you would want to do. See things through. So I'll get on with your reading here. So we got the Three of Pentacles straight away. That is the card of basically like being taught, like you kind of being very grounded in a value system. And being guided and trusting, you know, trusting a teacher or some guru or some sort of mentorship. That's the Three of Pentacles, is just the openness and the willingness to hear another's message, and being mindful of the value that comes in that, the value and the richness that is a part of the lessons that you're learning and the value system that you are being taught, and or even the value system that you already embrace. It's a very grounded energy. So the Three of Pentacles, being quite grounded in your values. And then right after that, we have the Page of Cups. So in this card, the Page of Cups just had like a full-on romp with these two folks. There's some sort of little, what is that phrase? Ethically non-monogamous? ENM. Ethically non-monogamous energy coming from this card. And you got these two folks that just been like, you know, had their world just rocked by this page. They're like, oh, give me more, I'm thirsty too, and all these things. And so either way, before I get off down the path of how kind of like sexual this card is, you know, the Page of Cups is basically kind of on a brand new emotional experience, and that is really exciting. And you know, I mean, this is quite something, kind of just the trajectory of this reading right here, because you know, you kind of start off with like your values, like you have your core, like you're grounded, your feet are on the ground and you're remembering what your mama taught you, right? And then you go off to the keg party and like hook up with a couple people. You know, I just cannot help think of college in this picture. That might tell you a little bit about my college experience, but either way, I digress. So, you know, either way, you move forward in a new emotional experience, which is super great and fun and all the things. And then, but you know, as the page, there's something that's very new about that, just very kind of, you could feel like a neophyte in the face of that. And just at the very like outset of this lesson, you know, like in whatever suit you're in. So like, being that this is the Page of Cups, this is someone who is not as emotionally mature as, say, you know, the Knight of Cups or the Queen or the King. Definitely a world away from the King and the Queen of Cups. The Page is rather impulsive. The Page of Cups is an impulsive energy. Very youthful. So, but fun. And so then you have the Page of Pentacles. So you got two pages. You have like emotional experience and then opportunity. So it's like opportunities are presenting themselves for you, pile number two. Like, you're being invited to like cut loose and have some fun and just like let the chips fall where they may. But don't let all the chips fall, because you got the Two of Pentacles right here. And so you're being asked to kind of keep things in balance, and actually being shown or told that that's kind of where you're at right now. You're trying to like juggle. Maybe you have, maybe you're trying to juggle a couple of lovers. That could be it, which is fun. And then, so, you just wanna do a little bit of juggling, but I don't get the sense that you're unhappy doing this juggling. It looks like there's a lot of, fervor and fun and curiosity going into this. And then right after, a very, very, very interesting evolution to the Nine of Pentacles, which the Nine of Pentacles is basically like, the Empress's little sister of the deck. Like your bounty and creativity. I mean, it feels to me that I would wonder what other kind of cards I pull here. I really do feel like the next line of progress will give us more information as how you went from the Page of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles, kind of this newbie juggling life, to the Nine, Yeah. Huh. Maybe you're being asked. Maybe that's a part of it. Maybe you're being asked to harness the energy of the Nine. The Nine of Pentacles would say that you are past the level of mastery, and that you know how to grow your garden. Like, you know how to reap the rewards of what you sow. You are stable. You are independent. You basically got your shit together. Like, this is the you got your shit together card, which is awesome. Like, the Nine of Pentacles is just like totally where you want to be as a single person, especially, because this is like you're going to be relying on yourself for a while. So like, you got this kind of impulsive, kind of playful, kind of menage a trois energy here. New experiences, new things, maybe juggling a few people, juggling life, juggling work and play, whatever. There could be a little bit of a whisper from the Scorpio moon saying, okay, don't forget your groundedness, like, try to get some stability under you, because something is coming your way. Pile number 2. Oh my gosh. Yo. Yes. So you have the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Wands right next to each other. Yeah. So the Ace of Cups is typically like a new relationship, like a new emotional connection with somebody. And the Ace of Wands is a new opportunity, a new desire, a new drive, a new strike while the iron's hot experience. And so that's really exciting. Maybe you're being invited to kind of slow it down a little bit because somebody's coming in. And if you're too wrapped up at the keg party, like, you're not going to notice this person. Another storyline could possibly be that, yeah, you were having fun, you were dating, and you were juggling some folks, but then you decided to kind of like settle down a little bit, and then that's when like your person came in. And this is also, I like to read them like this. but then I also like to see whether they're connected. So perhaps your Ace of Cups is one of these people. Perhaps you were dating a couple people and you decided you wanted to settle down and then offer and see about having a one cup experience with one of the people you were dating. That's one thing. That's an idea. And perhaps you guys matched in similar values or similar just teachings, similar values. Okay. So then there's the opportunity, and then you have the Two of Wands, which the Two of Wands is like, it's kind of a trip. It's kind of a trip because you have the Ace of Wands and you have the Two of Wands right after. So you have like this new experience, new presented desire and drive, new opportunity. And then you have the Two of Wands, which would appear to be like you are experiencing, it's like you're being called to choose between one or the other. And in this card, it's like this person has a bird in their hand, like, and it's kind of interesting because it's kind of like, okay, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, right? And so this person in this card has their ankle tied to one staff and their opposite wrist tied to the other staff. So this would suggest that there's like two equally like intriguing choices to be made. But yet, are you just gonna go with what you know already, which is like, okay, here are these two opportunities, but yet this guy is just kind of meditating and communing with this little bluebird in his hand. Okay, well, keep on reading and see how this plays out. Pile number 2. So then you have the Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands, it would appear like the Seven of Wands is like a victorious card. So like, you're emerging victorious on some level. And you're past the recognition stage. Yeah. The Seven of Wands, I believe, is just like, you're victorious. You finished. I mean, look at her. She's just kind of like, with her feet up on the pile of 6 rods and has one kind of slung over her shoulder and looking out on the horizon. It's kind of like, job well done, job well done. Some sort of finality in this. Victory. Beautiful. Beautiful energy. Wow. So next you have the Lovers, right? You have the Lovers, which, I mean, is really, communion with the other, and could also be, it's a crossroads. So, you might find yourself at a crossroads. This feels like a love reading to me. This really does. This does feel like a love and work reading. More actually, not necessarily love and work. Love and values. Love and values. Love and values. That's what's happening here. And there's a feeling of, yeah, maybe somebody was playing the field. Then they decided they wanted to settle down, and then that opportunity came along, but then they're like, oh, but wait, might there still be another, you know, another person out there? Like, do I really want to take this person's cup and only go for this one wand here? Or do I want to keep weighing my options, you know? And then, I mean, it would appear like a choice was made on some level, because then we have the lovers. So there's like a communion, there's a commitment. There's a commitment to one person. And then you have this Knight of Swords here charging toward the Ten of Cups. So I think that, like, in your mind, you're like, I'm doing this. I'm going for it. You know, I'm going for it. I want the Ten of Cups. I don't want the salacious keg party hookup. I want the relationship, and I want the Ten of Cups. So, because that is connected to my value system, you know. Here I was in my value system, and I had some fun. But now I'm really wanting to settle down here. And that's the choice I'm making. And it's leading you to the Ten of Cups, which is emotional fulfillment, relationship fulfillment, happiness, beautiful, sweet love, the whole thing, community, like maybe through this partnership, it's like you'll be coming into like a whole other community of friends, you know, you're like integrating yourself. Like when two couples integrate with each other, they, you know, adopt each other's friends, and then the friendship group just gets bigger, and it's a beautiful thing, you know, it's very, very sweet and beautiful. Yes, look at you. There's a lot of emotional maturing happening here. It's really nice. It's nice. Well, then this bitch has to show up. Always. In any reading where I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so great, I either pull the Five of Pentacles or the Tower or the Ten of Swords or something like that. Anyways, okay. So then we have the Five of Pentacles. So this doesn't necessarily mean that you were iced out by anybody, but given the fact that this reading kind of has an overarching energy of like internal struggle of like who I know myself to be, and then who I want to be, and then who I really want to be, like who I really think I should be. Like it's just like maybe there's a part of you, that's feeling left out in the cold now. Like maybe there's a part of you that misses that single life now that you know, have totally like dropped everything else and decided to move forward with this relationship. You know, because this was offered to you, you chose it, and now there's a little bit of inner feeling of being iced out somewhere. Maybe you know, I suppose if this was the Four of Cups, you would be feeling bored, but you know, there's this gal. Okay, look, the two people, the gal is looking over her shoulder. Like the couple is like hoveling past this little hobbit house, it would appear, and the girl's like looking over her shoulder. And so maybe that's you. Like maybe there's a part of you that's like, oh, but the bar, you know, or oh, but the look at all the people, the cute people. You know, it's kind of like that reluctant person who, you know, like wants a relationship and then is like dating a bunch of people, and then like the offer comes their way and then they don't want it. They like freak out, and then they like choose it. And then once they choose it, then they start kind of like, you know, longing for the single days. I don't know. There's a really, Just when I said it seemed like you became emotionally mature, well, I don't mean to jab fun, but it's fine. I mean, it's all a process, right? It's all a process. So so here we are. Then you have the Queen of Pentacles right after this. So the Queen of Pentacles energy is a very nurturing, stable energy. She's a provider. She's a provider, and she values, well, the energy is that they value the things that they have, and they're going to share that. And they don't flaunt it. There isn't any kind of flaunting going on. But it's interesting the way that these two cards play into one another. It's like the couple's walking in the dark, and the guy looks like he has his head down and is trudging along, and then the gal is like looking over her shoulder, and neither one of them are looking to the Queen of Pentacles, where if they were to just like raise their heads up and look forward and walk in strength together, then they would find that their future, looking to their future, is a lot like the Queen of Pentacles, which is stable, generous, loving, balanced, fair, and like a lot of the qualities that you would want in a partner. So, perhaps this partnership was chosen, and, maybe like there is definitely a lot of love in the community, but perhaps there's some sort of level of poverty in the partnership itself. That's a possibility too. And what I believe that this is, because the other piece of the Five of Pentacles is that there is a church. Okay? There is a church that is like a sanctuary in the background. And you can often see in many decks that there's like a glow beyond, like inside, which would indicate warmth and like a hearth and fire and like a bringing in, like an invitation. And it and in this deck though, it looks like there's a big old padlock on the doorknob, which that doesn't quite speak to the traditional meaning, but whatever. So I say, the way that I see this is that there's a couple here and they might be feeling impoverished within the context of the relationship, but it's not lost. It's not a lost cause, because they're still walking together, right? And they can choose at any time to lift their heads and walk toward this energy of fairness, generosity, loving kindness, and consideration. Okay. So then, in the finish here, kind of the culmination is that there's an energy of, distrust. Like, so this is the Four of Pentacles. Now, the Four of Pentacles is commonly referred to as like the greedy card, like the card of like holding it all down and being like super mindful to like keep yours to yourself, right? So this does not say let's share. It's not, and the funky thing is like, look at this dude. He's all kind of like he looks thirsty and like he's just trying to hold it. Kind of has like this spider imagery too. Like he's fully crouching with all with both his feet and his hands on each of the pentacles, like hovering over his own treasure, his own stuff, you know, not wanting to share it. And it's like with this, there's this little squirrel like right over here, and there's this little square trap, or at least it appears to kind of be a trap, where, you know, the squirrel looks like there's nothing inside the square to draw the squirrel in there, but yet it would appear that the squirrel is probably gonna hop right in the middle of there, but yet there's nothing in there for the squirrel, you know? But it looks like a trap because this dude looks like he's about ready to spring on anything that gets over near his things. This is some very, very interesting energy to pull as a part of the Queen of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles. Because the Four of Pentacles is not living in the energy of the Queen of Pentacles at all. This says to me that amidst this relationship, that there is an internal poverty going on. There is an internal poverty going on with somebody. And as a result of that internal poverty, they are holding fast to what they feel is theirs and theirs alone. This person convinced themselves to choose a relationship, reaped the rewards, and went for it because they thought that that was the thing that they should do. Not necessarily because, I mean, it was definitely the thing that they thought they wanted to do. Like they were really convinced that this is the best thing to do. And which led to really wonderful days ahead with community and all kinds of things. All kinds of good times. But then there was a poverty in the privacy under the dark of night between these two. One that could have led to the Queen of Pentacles, but didn't. It led to the Four of Pentacles. So the person who thought, see, because here we are, right down the middle. You know, you have the Page of Pentacles. Again, the youngest of the suit. It's not the first card in the suit, but it's the youngest emotionally, the youngest, the least developed of the archetypes of the suit. So it's kind of like the Page went from the Page to the Knight, which is a natural progression, but then found that they couldn't progress really past that. They had a choice of whether they would progress to the Queen of Pentacles or if they were going to continue to feel impoverished and then as a result be more guarded and be more selfish. That's what happened here. And I mean, I don't know, I honestly, with whoever's reading this, pile number 2, you're reading this reading here, you know what this means for you, whether or not this is a predictive reading or whether or not this is something that you've been experiencing as yourself. You could possibly be the person who is kind of like, I'm not ready to be with, I'm not ready to go the route. I'm not ready to identify with the Queen of Pentacles. I have some more learning and I have some more evolving and I have some more work to do along my path and my progress or my process in order to either just acknowledge my spot and stay there, or, you know, continue to grow as a human being and learn how to share and be sharing and you know, share myself and show myself. Because, you know, there is a sadness to this. There's a real sadness to this energy. It's a very guarded energy, and it's also a very distrusting energy. It's a very self-protecting energy, which in some ways really, really helps us. I mean, we all need self-protecting energy. But in the context of a loving relationship, if your experience has been not loving relationships, then it's harder to come out of this Four of Pentacles energy to fully trust that you're safe with the other person. A lot of times, by and large, all the times, that's why people stay in the Four of Pentacles energy if they're feeling guarded and protective in the context of a relationship, because they don't want to get hurt, and they don't they don't want to get hurt, or they don't want to lose, you know. But yeah, I feel like I don't really want to, excuse me, I feel like I don't want to really leave you with that energy, but that's what it is. There's someone here who was struggling between their value system and the parts of themselves that weren't yet entirely healed. There was a struggle between doing what feels good and what feels safe, and doing what one thinks that they should do. And the thing is if we do things that we think we should do, when we are not fully entirely ready on the inside to do those things, like rush into a commitment, then without a lot of self-awareness, because I mean, you can do the work on yourself in the context of a relationship. Even if you made a conscious decision and be like, I don't want to be a player anymore, I love this person, I'm totally going to choose them, and I'm choosing them, and we're going to have life, and we're going to do life. You could completely do that and still come out. You can still end up at the Queen of Pentacles, even if you do feel in your secret times, you know, afraid and scared. And I mean, gosh, whoever goes into a relationship knowing exactly what to do and where they're going and blah, blah, blah. Not a lot of folks. But, you know, so basically, if the end result for this reading here, pile number 2, is that it would appear that a person chose not to take the route of the Queen of Pentacles and is sitting in the energy of you know, self-protection. It's not a very great outcome, but it's kind of what I'm seeing here. I feel like I want to pull one more card. Okay. So this relationship will end because it's I just pulled the Death card, which is fine, because the thing is that ultimately in the finish, so I mean, if this is a predictive reading, like if this person chooses to go the way, like let's say for instance you're watching this, pile number 2, and you're totally identifying with this person, you have a choice, and you still haven't like completely messed it up yet. you have a choice of whether or not you want to work on yourself and within the context of this relationship and be honest with your partner about how you're feeling and what's going on. Because that's also Queen of Pentacles energy, because you're sharing how you're feeling, you're sharing what you want to bring. You want to get in touch with what your truest and highest self is, you know. And so if you do that, then you can end up at the Queen of Pentacles. If you decide and feel like it's way too much work, or you're absolutely not ready and this is not the time for you to go into that energy, and you want to stay in the Four of Pentacles energy, then the relationship will be ending. So that's that piece. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull an oracle card. I'm sorry, that wasn't a very happy, there was some happy times, but then it just kind of, either this happened to you, or you are the person who is kind of going back and forth and struggling, or maybe you're in a relationship right now that you are the person who's struggling, or your partner's the one and you can't quite tell what's going on. I'm really sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. Okay, so diving for light. This is a really good one. So basically, I think that this is a really good advice card, because this is inviting you to do, ultimately this is a good reading, because what it's inviting you to do is to really do the work, that you need to do. If in fact you feel like you want to work toward this, you want to work toward the 10 of Cups, you want to work toward the commitment and keep the commitment. Okay, because the thing is that it laid itself at your feet. It laid itself at this person's feet. You know, beautiful energy. And then things get scary for someone, and then it changed. You know, which happens all the time. It happens all the time, you guys. It does. It happens. Well, you know, dive for the light. Do the work. If your partner's the one who's struggling with this, you can do the work of your own and choose to stay with this person, or tell them that you really want to work this out. I have no idea. I'm rambling now. So, you know, dive for the light, do your work, and you know, it's all a process. It's all a process, you guys. And the timing is divine, you know, because if you think of it this way, if you're trying to go into this committed energy and you absolutely cannot get past this part, this inner poverty, and then like you're feeling so guarded within the context of an intimate relationship, but yet you're not going to do the work around that, then it's just not going to work anyway. So I'm sorry about this, guys. Okay, well, I'm going to clear this reading out. Any comments are also greatly appreciated. Okay. I'm going to do one last reading for pile number 3. Yeah, these ones, this card stock is a little bit stiffer, which is great, but I can't do the rainbow shuffle. Have to do this little goodie. I wish I knew how to do the split and do the side deal. I like how that looks. And one more shuffle and then a cut, and then the cards are ready to speak. Okay, so what messages do we have for pile number 3? What messages do we have for pile number 3 in the full moon of Scorpio? Scorpio, pink supermoon energy. What kind of messages do we have? Whoops. Okay. I'm sorry. What kind of messages do we have for pile number 3 in the Scorpio full pink supermoon? All right. Pile number 3. Pile number 3. Wow. Powerful energy. Straight out the gate. Yo. Okay. So you have the King of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups, the King of Wands, the Eight of Wands, and the Five of Swords. So the King of Pentacles represents an energy of a person who has reached like the highest evolution of the suit of the Pentacles, which is you know, stability and affluence. Like, this is the person who has all the things and doesn't have to worry about any money at all. They got it. They got it. They got it pinned down. They got their 401k is stacked. They're just, you know, debt free or minimal debt, just like really well skilled at money, taking care of business. That's the King of Pentacles. Nine of Cups is a wish fulfillment energy. It's also an invitation for you to share. You know, bring your best and highest self to the table. And when you're there at the table, to share those gifts. And it's also a cup. It's also a cup. It's also a card inviting you to create your own happiness as well. So the Nine of Cups is really good. You know, it's wish fulfillment. It's sharing. It's abundance. It's happiness, and, you know, creating your own happiness. And having it be true, authentic happiness. It's not just some sort of like, you know, fake it till you make it energy. Like, it's authentic. Then, on the other side of that, we have the King of Wands, who, like the King of Pentacles, like the kings are always at the kind of the top of the energy of that suit, like I've said before. Now, the King of Wands is a leader, really a mentor or a teacher, like really knows how to get things done. The King of Pentacles knows how to get things. The King of Wands knows how to get things done. And so, you know, the King of Wands just has a lot of, he's gone through the evolution of the fiery energy, but he has tamed that fire. And so it's just, I don't know. I really like the Wands suit. I love the Queen and King of Wands and stuff. And it's just, they're very, you know, they're fireproof. Like, on a lot of these, they have a salamander, and salamanders are fireproof. They have fireproof skin. And there's also the two lions, which, you know, this is Leo energy here. And there's a lot of like gold and red and in his regalia. And so, and the kings, you know, it's like they just look right at you, you know. Like gold is a really powerful color in the tarot. It's kind of at the top, like gold and red is like attainment and fire and going towards it. And all of these guys, all these folks right here have gold robes and red sashes. Like the King of Pentacles has, and the Nine of Cups is gold robe, red sash. And the Wands is red robe, gold sash. Interesting. So it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds, because I'm having a, you know, maybe the two kings are coming together to share, bring their highest and best self to the table to share together. Or perhaps the King of Pentacles needs to invoke some of this highest and best self energy, like the Nine of Cups. So like invite some water, like water the seed that he has in order to get what he wants done. And so things are moving at a very fast pace. The Eight of Wands suggests that things are quite accelerated right now. Things are accelerated. And then after that, we have the Five of Swords, which indicates conflict. You know, it could be a conflict of ideas as well. I mean, granted, these people aren't engaged in any kind of passionate battle by any means, but you have three people here, and none of them are looking at each other. One person looks like he's been stabbed in the back, because it's kind of like he's wearing this red, he's wearing a white shirt, but there's like a red splotch on it. There's no blood on the swords though. You know, and here's this dude just sitting on the rock with his chin in his hand. He's got three swords to the side, and then two swords in the front of him, but then he's got these two dudes off in the background. So I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a part of this person who's like, okay, we're having conflict of ideas, because that's what the suit of swords is the mind, ideas, truth. And I wonder that, you know, with this person, it's like, okay, maybe they're still withholding some truths. Like they got three little swords kind of tucked up and, you know, kind of holding three swords to themselves, and then they kind of put out a couple of things. So maybe this person isn't entirely showing or sharing everything of either what they're upset about, or perhaps they're keeping three to themselves as a strategy. Not, you know, like holding it close to the vest, as they say. But in a way, it doesn't even matter what this person's strategy is, because these other two people have walked away. They're like, we're not going to engage in this anymore. Like, this is a futile fight that you're trying to keep up here. Because look at you. No one's fighting. Everyone's just not talking. And this guy's just sitting there. What happened? Just kind of thinking about it, reflecting on it. Huh. This is weird. Okay. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, like, maybe there were two people that, you know, two very two very strong personalities. Two very strong personalities tried to come together here, but then couldn't. Like, I don't know. They were trying to come together to create some shared happiness, but for some reason, like, things accelerated and then, like, petty fights took place. But then following that, you have the Eight of Pentacles, which is the card of mastery. So, what are you mastering at the art of fighting? Like, what are you, becoming a master of the art of petty arguing? Who knows? But whatever it is, this person's really bummed about it. They got the Nine of Swords happening right here. Really in their head, just having bad dreams, not able to sleep. And this one is right down underneath the King of Wands, so it's in between the King of Wands and the Nine of Cups. So it's like, you know, maybe the King of Wands is the one that's a little bit more troubled by this, whereas the King of Pentacles, I think the King of Pentacles probably thinks that they're really right about whatever this situation was, because here they are, you know, them coupled with their, you know, Nine of Cups card kind of distills down into this Eight of Pentacles, which is like the card of mastery. So, you know, it looks like maybe the King of Pentacles, you know, isn't really taking ownership right now of the conflict and whatever happened, because something happened and something happened very quickly. So, you know, here's the mastery energy is, you know, the mastery energy. Okay, look, this person right here is doing their own thing. Which one of these things is doing their own thing? So he's doing his own thing, and this person over here is crying. And if you look, this person's focused on what they're focused on their work, and then this person's like just thinking, like holding all the sadness of what happened. And they're not looking at each other. They're basically like, kind of like, she's this way and he's this way, you know? Or they're that, you know, they're not facing each other right now. One of the people are burying themselves in their work, and this other person's just losing sleep. So there's a timeout. Four of Swords. There's a timeout. There's a timeout. Two people tried to come together, two people with very strong personalities. Something went down. They both had the best of intentions, but something went down, and then there was a conflict, and now someone's burying themselves in work, and the other person's having sleepless nights. They're taking a time out, taking a break. And then here's the Three of Pentacles, which, you know, kind of speaks to the value system and speaks to some groundedness and some teamwork. A lot of times the threes in the suits speak of teamwork on some level. I think I have to learn a little bit more about the Three of Pentacles, because I know that there's more to it, but I may not be seeing it. From what I understand is kind of a coming together, in alignment with like shared values or teachings of some kind. Like this dude in the middle is kind of like, he's holding the paper and he's kind of explaining it. This guy's real interested. He's like, okay, I'm interested. And this guy's kind of just like starting to stare off into space. So he's like, I can only take in little bits of information at a time. That's fine. We all have different learning styles. Oh, you guys. Okay. All right. So this is kind of like back to the drawing board. You know, back to the drawing board. We're taking a time out now. It's back to the drawing board. And who knows? I mean, I can't tell if these were lovers or if these are like colleagues and they were coming to the table to like share their ideas and to bring their highest and best self and like create their own happiness. But maybe they were each too focused on their own happiness and their own wish fulfillment, their own wishes, that there was too much rigidity there. Because the thing is with the kings, they're very strong in the energies of the suit. However, being so strong can tip them over to the side, tip them over to the other part, which can be like a rigidity. What does the rigidity look like within that energy, you know? Like, say for instance, the fire. Maybe it's their way or the highway, right? Maybe they're not willing to hear other ideas. Typically, these are characteristics if the cards were pulled in reverse. You know, but I still highlight that kind of stuff when you find that there's some conflict there, you know. So either way, let me get on with the reading. Back to the drawing board, and we're going to have to call on all of our tools and resources, because we both have a desired goal and we're fighting over who gets to be in charge, and we're dealing with it in our own way. And now we're going back to the drawing board and bringing out every tool in the toolbox. The Magician has mastery of all the suits. So the Magician really does tie all the energies together. The emotions, the drive, the intellect, and the patience and the stability. Okay, so the Magician comes out. There's an invitation for calling on the tools, calling on a balanced approach of using the tools and using the energies to the benefit of the greater good. And then the Hermit shows up. So the Hermit is a card that does speak to not isolation, but self-reflection. A lot of times, dark night of the soul, kind of shadow work. And, you know, just kind of keeping one's own counsel. Being by themselves for a little while, figuring, you know, this is a card of Virgo. Virgos really like to commonly work stuff out on their own in their minds before they come out and talk about it, if they come out and talk about it. So still, I'm not seeing any communication happening. There's a conflict, there's a something, there's, you know, and then there's two people dealing with it, taking a break, maybe each going back to the drawing board and trying to call on their own individual tools, because I'm not seeing anybody coming together. I'm seeing two people trying to work it out on their own. And I don't know. I mean, maybe that works for you guys, because we have the Ten of Pentacles, which is typically a card of, like, you know, coming back together and sharing the wealth. And I think that this reading is saying a couple of things. So the reading, I believe, is saying how things are going. But once we get to this third level here, it says how, like, there are 3 different possibilities of how things can go. So say, for instance, the King of Pentacles had this issue, buried themselves in their work, and then they ended up, you know, harnessing their own inner magician and saying, okay, I buckled down, I focused on my work. Now, what other aspects, what other strengths do I have that I can bring? Like, I need to bring all my tools to the job, basically. So that's the King of Pentacles approach. The King of Wands approach kind of got really swept up in their mind about this, about the situation, about the conflict, lost some sleep about it, and then went into hermit mode. Okay. The fast-paced conflict created a break. The conflict itself caused, you know, say if this route were to be taken, after the conflict there's a coming together and a meeting of the minds to go back to the drawing board and to, like, share ideas and have some teamwork. Then there will be the Ten of Pentacles. So I think that this is speaking to 3 possible outcomes to this situation. There's a lot of major arcana in this reading too. Oh my gosh. There are 5 major arcana right here. Pile number 3. This is big. I feel like a lot of the readings, like the 3 readings tonight, like the first reading, like they all had to do with work. They all had to do with work. But the second reading was like inner work. And the first reading was, you know, solo goal-oriented work, but then having to, like, invite others in. And then this one is like there is a team, but then there's a fallout. There's a conflict in the team. And so, you know, I get the sense that these are 2 people that are working on a project, that these are 2 people that are colleagues. Yeah, that's just what I feel. You know, but here we have the Magician, the Hermit. Oh, the Ten of Pentacles isn't a major arcana. But then we have the Star and we have Temperance. So there's a lot of hope in this situation. There's a lot of hope. There's a wishing upon the star. You know, it's basically like you wish upon a star, but yet you have to be patient. And then there's this Aquarian energy. I think both of these cards, I know Temperance is Aquarius, but is the Star also an Aquarius? So there's hope, but there's patience. There's hope and there's patience. How can these 2 people come back together? When are they going to come back together? I still don't see too much communication. Like, there's communication right here, but I feel like this card right here is the card of a possibility. This card is like the card of the best case outcome. You know? Like, what's the best thing to do after a conflict? Okay, take a break and then come back together. Then you can have the Ten of Pentacles here. Okay, so we have a wish. Wishing upon a star, but we gotta be patient. Gotta be patient for it. I'm picking a different one because that's not even a real arcana card. This one, anyway, whatever. The Sun. Boom. It's gonna work out. Whatever it is, it's gonna work out. There's a temporary break. You guys got into a bummer fallout fight, but, you know, you're each kind of taking a break and doing what you both do best, you know. One's crying themselves to sleep, and the other is is burning the midnight oil. Yeah. It's gonna work out. You got the sun. The sun is the best card in the deck. So, you know, you wished upon a star and you're having some patience, but it's gonna resolve. It's gonna resolve. The project is gonna come together. The relationship's gonna come together. The account won't be lost. You'll still be able to keep. You'll still be able to keep the. What's the name of that account? Oh God. Still be able to keep like the Crispies account. If any of you get that, I hope that you do. But it's a book reference. It's a Stephen King book reference. So the sun. You got the sun, you guys. It'll all work out. You just have to be patient. You have to be patient. And keep your eyes on the prize. Like, be clear about what your wish is, you know, like what kind of outcome do you want to see happen here? You know, like the star is a wishing on a star. It's kind of like, you know, you want a positive thing. People don't wish for bad things to happen, you know, typically not, but you know, you wish for good things to happen. So I think that, you know, both of the kings in this situation ultimately want it to work out, but the problem is they're both wanting it to work out the way they want it to work. And that's where the conflict is. Excuse me, two very strong personalities clashing in a common goal. Okay, that's your reading. Here's your oracle card. Focus on the light. So the other one was diving for the light. This one is focus on the light. And I believe that is saying, keep, like just what I said, just keep your eyes on the prize, focus on the outcome, focus on the shared goal. Don't get wrapped up in focusing on and becoming rigid around what it is that you want, and like not just what you want, but how you want it to go. Okay? You want to pan the camera back, focus on the bigger picture, focus on the light in the situation, focus on the shared goal that you and your counterpart have, and go from there. You both are very different people. Neither one is better or worse than the other. You both just have very, very strong personalities and very strong foundations and convictions about how you want it to go. And there needs to be collaboration. The collaboration here is going to lead you to the sun. Okay? So, you know, loosen your grip a little bit on how you want it to go. Keep your eye on the light. Focus on the light. And it's going to be, you know, it's going to be a lot better that way. Oh, and you guys, I didn't even... You know how you guys got the sun? You got the sun card in the finish? There's a sunflower. Focus on the light. Focus on the sun. I mean, don't stare at the sun, but you know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. You guys, the sunflowers in the tarot and in like the imagery across all these card decks that you see everywhere is the sun. It's the sunflower. Yeah, you guys. Don't you kiss and make up already? Realize that you have a shared goal. Get on with it. Give each other a hug. And think about what you both bring. Try to think about the good qualities of your counterpart and really appreciate that and tell them so. I really appreciate how much grounded and stability you bring. I appreciate how strong your work ethic is. You know, just whatever the case is. Focus on the light in one another. This is good. You guys are going to get through this. It's going to be great. All right, well, that does it for Purple Table Tarot today. Thank you guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed your reading, and please like, share, and subscribe, and comment, and share your thoughts too about the reading. I love hearing what other people have to say about, what they think the cards, represent for them, and, all the things, because we're all learning from each other and with each other, this wonderful community of ours. Thank you so much. Okay, till next time.